What's up, Twitchy Boom here, also known as Harrison on a normal day. Um, Wanted to talk about people being new to epilepsy, because like I've mentioned before, I'm on the epilepsy Reddit quite often, and a lot of people are like, "Hey, I'm new to epilepsy. What can I do? What do I do?" And if you're brand spanking new, you have no idea where to start or what to do, what to ask, stuff like that. So I just want to cover a few things like of the basics of just help a brother out or a sister, a twitchy sister. Um, first off, I have notes over here, so pardon my glancing, not looking at the camera so much. Um, I highly encourage you to visit the epilepsy Reddit. It's just r/epilepsy, and you can have so many questions answered. Like it's insane. There's very knowledgeable people on there, but also it's Reddit, so take it with a grain of salt. Um, you don't have to believe everything that's said. Um, a lot of people will give you misinformation, and it's a good community, especially for brand new with just acquired epilepsy, however you want to phrase it. First, I want to talk about doctors, because doctor, this could be a whole video in itself. Doctors and what types, what they do, how they approach your treatments, everything under the sun. Because your neurologist is gonna be your new doctor. You might have said like, "Oh, I have to go to the doctor. I'm sick." That's not a neurologist unless you have a brain disease like Alzheimer's or uh, epilepsy is actually a disease. Um, you're not going to see a neurologist. Um, but that being said, say like say you had a seizure or your status and you ended up in the hospital. You took an ambulance ride over there. Uh, you'll have like a consultation, probably a brief consultation with a neurologist, and and th- they uh, doctors in general are just they're a mix. They're still they're people, but they've been trained to like almost interrogate you for the facts because like so many people want to hide what they've done. That's why I actually just read it out of the corner of my eye. Don't hesitate to ask your parents or loved ones to leave the room. Like if you've done something like I guess like shameful or disgraceful. Hold the phone. I want to clarify what I meant by shameful and disgraceful. Essentially, anything that you don't want becoming public knowledge to your parents, like partying, drinking, sexual activities, uh, anything. Like I said, just anything you don't want your parents to know. You are more than welcome and entitled to ask your parents to step out of the room. In like the past 24 to 48 hours that may have caused your seizure, um, don't be afraid to ask them to leave. That's well within your rights as a patient. It's doctor-patient confidentiality. It's a privilege for another person aside from you to be in the room. Um, just keep that in mind. I want to address this thing before going any further because I'm sure you might be a little curious. So this is just a waist. It's a Velcro strap that goes all the way around my chest and through these loops, through the circle hoops. So if I fall, I don't fall out of my computer chair because this computer chair has caused me the most damage to my face. I have I have two stitches there that goes down. I have multiple stitches along my hairline. I have one still recovering knot on my head. Um, you name it. I've busted my lip. I don't know if you can see it. It looks like a Slytherin or something. It's like a cut in my lip. That was not fun. That really freaking hurt. Um, yeah, I could go on and on and on. But these are nice. If you spend a lot of time on your computer, this was actually homemade, which is very convenient. And if you spend a lot of time at your computer and you have a lot of like frequent epilepsy episodes, highly recommend it. Um, I guess you could just belt yourself into your chair. You might feel a little loony though. This is comfortable. I can comfortably agree with this. As much as I don't like it, it's helped more than it's hurt. So with that being said, um, let's move on to my section I've titled aptly Doctors and Exams. So I kind of covered this a little bit in the beginning. So like assuming you are discharged from the ER now or the hospital, wherever you had this first seizure of yours, you have a referral to a neurologist or an epileptologist or a seizure specialist. They're all the same, kinda. That's good news. So that you're making progress in the right direction. But like, they're not all created equal. Like, and I'll very much explain what I mean by that. Um, some doctors have some modern doctors have like what they call natural approaches, and I um I was I currently am actually still seeing this doctor. He's a great doctor. I don't want to drop names, but the natural approach would be oh, how do you feel on this medication? Do you feel that this medication is doing its job? Do you feel better on this medication? How are your side effects? Do you have side effects? Um, but he would just ask me how I'm doing. He wouldn't. He's not a blood work doctor. He's taken blood work in the past, but there's again that's another type of doctor, I guess you would say. Some of them are freaking vampires. They love their blood work. Some doctors will have you draw blood monthly or like bi-monthly to make sure that your levels are up. Well, let's say you're taking Keppra, that your Keppra is in your blood system well enough, because you need a balance. It needs to be balanced pretty well. Oh, and like the last thing, two things. Um, you can encounter doctors that are nice, jerks, just like genius jerks. That's usually a combination you come across. It's kind of like the Dr. House syndrome. You know, you might be a brilliant doctor, but you're a total jerk to your patients. I would encourage you on your first visit to your doctor to ask a ton of questions, like every question you can imagine. So where do you think my seizures started? How do you think they started? And give as well as asking him questions, drilling him for information. Give him as much information, him or her, as much information as possible. It's going to be a balance, and you'll learn. I mean, if you don't like your doctor, you could switch. There's a million neurologists, but they're all doctors, so they have 8 years of schooling under the belt, and they've grown a little cold to people asking repetitive questions and stuff. Some, not all. And this brings me to my scans / test category that's so perfectly named. I'm just gonna read this off here. EEG, MRI, fMRI, and CT are all very commonplace with epilepsy, and blood work's the pinky. Is common when checking medication levels, or not even medication level. Like when you have seizures, you deplete certain things, certain nutrients or whatever you want, macronutrients in your body. So they want to make sure everything's doing good. So, like I was saying, there's different types of doctors who do blood work every day, and there's others that don't. But yeah, expect a variety of tests and blood work. If you're a brand new patient to any doctor, just a heads up. And types of epilepsy. There's about 16. I think there's 12 to 16. They keep on changing the naming schemes, so it's really hard to keep track. I only have one type of seizure. Or I guess you could say one form of epilepsy. and that is what they call focal onset aware seizures, also known as simple partial seizures. So yeah, it's just epilepsy doc. I'll put links in the bottom just to clarify this stuff and where I got all my stuff from. Treatments and meds. That's my next category here. And by treatments, I'll go into detail about that. Meds are just obviously meds, like, Keppra is the most commonly prescribed medication for epilepsy. I encourage you to take baby steps. Like I've said that before, and it's like I keep on saying it because when it comes to medication, you might have one medication that just ruins your day. That ruins your day. Like, well, clonazepam, that would ruin my day, and I would just sometimes it just hits you. You're just like you just have like an emotional moment, like you're super unhappy with what you've run into, and you're unhappy with the condition that you have to treat, so you're unhappy with the medication you have to take. And so, like I said, take baby steps. Just it's a learning curve. You'll pick it up. It's not the end of the world. And I'd like to mention here, I did thorough Google research for this. There are 36 anti-epileptic drugs on the market, also commonly known as AEDs. So finding the right one is tricky. They all work differently. Some of them work similarly because they want to rip off each other's patents. Some of them are big brothers to others. So it's not like, so these are all what I've listed here, which I think I have a source for this too. These are all medications that you would take daily, I'm pretty sure. And if not, I would. Yeah, these are all daily medications. There's like one or two that are barbiturates that you can daily dose barbiturates, but it takes a toll. You'll just be sleepy. Anyways, off the meds onto the treatments. Like what I mean by treatments. Well, treatments is anything that's treating your epilepsy. Um, if hell, if you take Skittles in your epilepsy, your seizure frequency decreases. That's a treatment. you know, or better example, you can treat low blood sugar with Skittles. I'm not eating Skittles because I do the ketogenic diet, but I'll get into that in a minute. Um, there's no known cure for epilepsy, um, but you can grow out of it if you're young. If you get it while you're young and like your brain's not fully developed, your brain can grow out of it. So don't lose like I said, like baby steps. Like don't lose all hope. It's not the end of the world. So what are these treatments? All right, let's get into them. Stereo EEG using the ROSA robotic system, and just to make this really simple, the ROSA robotic system are just a set of two robotic arms. That was one. It's a pair of robotic arms that take human user input and just like instead of like maybe a human would, be trying to do this operation themselves, they and have like a twitch or like accidentally drop the tool, which would be horrible. This robot will not do that. So it just makes the surgery that much easier. And so the whole purpose of the EEG using the stereo EEG is it can create a 3D map of your brain. And laser ablation is one of the most fun words to say. Laser ablation, and the most simplified form of this is saying that, like a doctor will take like something similar to a laser pen, I'd imagine, but higher power, and he would burn off the affected areas of epilepsy of your brain that has caused epilepsy, and that's supposed to work pretty good. Resection of the seizure focus. Resection just means taking out, so they're just gonna cut it out, and sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. Last doctor appointment I actually had, he said there's a new approach for resecting the affected area because like I was told this when I had my RNS implanted. Your seizure area can regrow even if it's cut out. It's like, how does that work? But apparently this new technique is like more effective in avoiding regrowth. Deep brain stimulation is the next one, which is will bring me on to the last two. Deep brain stimulation is when two electrodes are implanted in the brain closest to the seizure area, and they send out mild electrical pulses to treat your seizures. And so, like DBS, that's done. I'm pretty sure that's not like a device. I think that's done like in a monitored hospital room. I'm not sure though. VNS and RNS, they're similar, but they're also majorly different. VNS is the vagus nerve stimulator, and somewhere on here I'll put a graph of the vagus nerve system in your body. It's a device that usually sits in your chest, like your upper chest, and it's linked to your vagus nerve. You probably can hear me. It's linked to your vagus nerve. The closest one would be like in your neck, and anytime it detects a pattern, I don't think it detects as like the RNS does. I think it just has a frequency at which it treats, but I might be wrong. The RNS device, which I'm more familiar with, which because I have it in my head, is again, it's a device. It's like a small computer. It gets implanted in the skull, replaces a piece of the skull. So like right here, I'm tapping my RNS device. It's not gonna break it because it's titanium. I can't feel it. I can't feel much, even after years of the cells trying to regrow. But your doctor your RNS specialist can set parameters for your RNS device. They could change settings. They could change amps or microcoulombs, not amps. It sends out a very small amount of electricity to very, very specific areas in the brain. I'll put a picture of both devices on the screen just so maybe get a general idea how they work. And last but not least is the ketogenic diet. That is, I used. It's a long story if I'm getting into like what worked for me. I started the ketogenic diet 3-4 years ago now. For like 1 week, it helped my seizures, and then it stopped helping my seizures. It was the strangest thing. Like my seizures just don't want help. Apparently, they're just like, no, we're good. But aside from treating my seizures for a week, which I did a really good job of, I was seizure free for 2 days. I was impressive at the time. It gives you increased like mental clarity, like longer energy. You're burning a fat. You're burning fat, literally not a fat. You're burning all your fat in your body to create ketones. So you switch over from like you're probably on like, I don't want to say this generally speaking, but most people eat what they call a Western diet, which is super high in carbs. It's really corn based, corn syrup, corn that has glucose, glycogen. You take out most carbs, and you switch to a high fat diet, and your body enters ketosis. It's crazy. But there's like, the one thing I will say is like, people are really scared too that they're restricted in what they could eat. You could eat a lot on the ketogenic diet, and a lot of it's really delicious. It's like these cheesy breadsticks that are keto are money. And that's a whole other topic that I could do a whole more videos on that. I think I did a video on that. Anyways, like that kind of brings me to the end of my all my seizure treatment ranting about doctors and stuff. I just wanted to give you like a baseline of what you might encounter. Like like the whole takeaway is uh tell your doctor everything that you think might affect your seizures. Ask your doctor plenty of questions. Um, if you think a medication isn't working, you're probably right because you're the one taking it. Your doctor's not. So tell your doctor that. Say, I'd like to switch meds. I've told my doctor I'd like to switch meds more than once, and he's like, okay. Like, just you just gotta work with it though. It's not the easiest of things to cope with. And get yourself a chest strap. They're super handy and safe. Really easy to make. Twitch Boom out. Hope this video helped. See ya.